Hello and welcome to Power Pantaloons podcast. My name is Tonya. I'm your holistic cancer wellness specialist. And today we have Ashley Holmes with us. Welcome, Ashley.
Hello, thank you for having me here.
You're welcome. Can you tell the audience what you do?
I am a holistic fertility coach, so I help women who are struggling with infertility to use holistic practices to bring mind, body, and spirit back into balance and alignment to conceive with ease, really offering what the medical world does not.
Yeah, yeah. Where would you start? Where would you start?
I would start with we're not just our physical body, and there is so much more that we can tune in and tap into and really empower ourselves with our health, with our healing. That is holistic, that is natural, that has no adverse side effects at all, only positive benefits.
How do you feel about working in conjunction with allopathic medicine?
I have no problem for it. They can go together. I feel like you need to do everything within your power for yourself, right? And some women, the only option may be to use IVF in these circumstances, right? That might be the only route, but it's then that much more stressful and that much more that you are putting yourself through for sort of a more extended period of time. So, really, everything that you can do to prepare yourself and to feel like yourself as you're going through it is going to help you.
I recently, a friend of mine was telling me about somebody that they knew that was a young woman and she has ovarian cancer, and they're making the difficult decision right now as to whether or not she gets a full hysterectomy or not, and whether or not they're choosing to save eggs. Yeah, like so, like that's a real situation that women can be in. And what I told her, I said, the fear of it being a genetic cancer is only 5% of cancers. So I highly recommend, if she thinks she might want to have her own kids later, to go ahead and freeze the eggs, because the rest the rest of it, so it's 5 to 8% is genetic. The rest of it's toxins and environment and other things, even though we go out of our way to talk about genes being the problem.
That's really sort of what has been conditioned to us to believe. And really, we have not been told or taught how to bring our healing and our happiness and our health into our own hands. There are so many things that we can do for ourselves day in and day out, which you may think are the small things, but they really are the big things. And they do really make a huge impact in this moment and your future.
Yeah, the food you put in your mouth, the shampoo you use, the body wash, the couch you buy, like, all of that matters.
All of it
And
matters. And
yeah,
we can have tunnel vision sometimes and think, well, I just need to focus on this or I just need to look at this and then everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to line up. And sometimes we need to be a little bit more open minded. And sometimes we need to feel in our own bodies that this doesn't feel good to me. What else is available for me? Because I am really ready and willing to try something else because what I'm experiencing doesn't make me feel happy, healthy, and whole.
yeah, absolutely. I agree with the fact that you said that allopathic medicine does have its place, and I think that allopathic, which is regular medicine, can work definitely hand in hand and in harmony with the holistic side, because that's exactly what I did when I walked through my cancer journey. Is I brought in all of the beautiful extra stuff that felt intuitively right to me. So yeah.
I think really the more support you have available to you and the more that you can allow that for yourself and really know that we are all here to help each other. You don't have to struggle alone. You don't have to suffer alone. You're not in this alone. And there are plenty of people that are ready and willing to help you and who have your best interest at heart and want the best for you.
Yes, absolutely. So if you were to start with holistic, do you start with nutrition and food? Do you start where do you start in regards to that?
Really, it's not one size fits all for me. It is one to one and personalized and customized for that reason because everybody's fertility journey is different, whether they've experienced miscarriages and things that they need to process and work through prior to sort of moving on, because we can't move on until we've actually dealt with what has come before. Right? Often we just wanna glaze over and skip over and be like, "Okay, I'm ready to try again," yet we haven't processed any turmoil that we're feeling internally.
I think that you hit on something that we really need to talk about there, and that, you know, the trauma of the experience absolutely can affect your future attempts at healing, whether it's, you know, fertility or journeying through cancer diagnosis or whatever. It's so I was assaulted when I was a young girl, and I believe that because I was only 5 at the time, I didn't process it, and I think that that's part of the reason I ended up with uterine cancer, because I didn't know how to process it. I didn't even remember it for a long time. So having to work through it became part of my healing journey with the cancer at the same time. So I agree with what you're saying there because I found
Oh,
it true in my experience.
absolutely. So it's not only have you experienced miscarriages, but it's also it can be things from childhood. It can be things that you are holding on to that you don't know that you are holding on to subconsciously that are affecting you in this present moment, and bringing those unconscious thoughts to your awareness and to your consciousness is how you can shift things. It's how you can move forward, and it's how you can really transform the fertility journey you've been experiencing so far.
Yeah, absolutely. It and not a lot of people are talking about that.
That
That
was my awakening, enlightening moment on my yoga mat was, wow, I was almost unconsciously creating the reality that I didn't want, but unknowingly to myself. And that was a huge wake up call. And that's why I birthed this business, is because how much of what we are experiencing is unconscious, and let's bring some light and awareness to that so that we can move forward in the way that we want to, because we can keep trying and doing all these things and keep getting the same result because nothing has changed up here, which is affecting everything below.
how does that quote go? Well, I don't know if it's the definition of insanity is doing the same things over and
Same
over
thing
expecting a
over and
different
over again.
result, right?
Yeah,
So
Einstein, yes.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, and it's interesting to me that even if people are telling you about the thing, right? Until you're ready for that thing, you're not going to understand what they're saying. It's sort of like
Yes.
being in Charlie Brown's classroom. Well, won't like you're just not going to understand it.
When you're ready, it will land when it's ready, and it will land in divine timing, and you cannot force things into being, you know? As many times as I heard the yoga teachers say, "Move with your body, move with your breath," over and over and over again, it wasn't till I was barefoot in a labyrinth and pregnant, naturally, from what I had learned, that I had to slow down, that I moved with my body, and that it finally landed for me. It was like, okay, I get it now. I have not been listening. I have not been in tune. There is so much that we think that we are processing, that we think we're taking in, and it's really just going over our heads. You're like, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I've got this.
Not at all. Not at all. Yeah. It is. For me, mindset comes first, right? Like in deciding how you're going to tackle whatever it is. Get your mind
Yes.
right, and
It's for me,
then
it's like it's a triangle, right? It's mind, body, and spirit, but we start with the mind. We start with the mind because and you have to have all 3 pieces. You can't just have one, and it's just like approaching your fertility journey just from the physical aspect is only going to do so much and it's only going to go so far and get you certain results. And if you've been on this road for a long time and you're not seeing the results that you want, then perhaps it's time to open your mind to what else is possible for you because there's so much more available. Like yin yoga is just the same as going to acupuncture for your fertility. There's different ways of doing things. And personally, I don't love needles. So, if I can do yoga from the comfort of my own home and have the same results as going to an appointment, yes, I'm going to do that.
I I don't like needles either, but acupuncture needles are so different than needles that they use in the medical field that I I think it's like comparing apples and oranges. Um, I was surprised. I had a friend who was a chiropractor uh, do some acupuncture on me without telling me in advance she was going to do it. And so it just sort of happened because I would have said no. And it wasn't, you know, what my mind had worked it up to be,
Right.
which is a prime example of get your mind right because, you know,
Yes. There's so much going on up here that isn't necessarily our truth. And if we can come to the knowing that your thought is just a thought and not attached to it, and you don't have to keep that thought. You can get a new thought and change your thoughts and rewire your thoughts and find thoughts that serve you for your goals and what you're trying to achieve in your life. You're going to be so much better off and feel so much better off.
we have so many thoughts a day,
Yes.
and a lot of them are negative. The self-talk that we give ourselves is pretty harsh. And if you just do one thing and every time you catch one of those thoughts, correct it, and you just keep doing that, that one trick, that one habit will change your life.
Yes. I agree absolutely that it is just, being aware and doing it in the moment as often as you can and not judging yourself, not beating yourself up of, "Oh, I shouldn't be thinking that," or "I can't believe I'm thinking that again," you caught yourself, so you are aware, and then therefore you can change that looping that keeps happening over and over again.
Exactly. And every time you catch it, it's a step in the right direction, as long as you're correcting it. And it doesn't have to take long either. Just acknowledge it and correct it and let it go.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So mind and then body and spirit, for me is having the right support network. Like you want to make sure that everybody in your group, your friends, family, and your providers, whether they're holistic or whatever, are all in alignment with what your goal is. And then deciding which alternative wellness modalities you're adding into the mix.
Yes. There's so many things. I offer Reiki and I offer yoga and I offer meditation and I offer Ayurveda to my clients, which is the sister science to yoga, which is really how you're going to nourish yourself in the best way for you, for how you came into this world. And it doesn't mean you have to be an expert in that. I give people what they need to know that's going to help them, that I feel that they are going to actually embody and apply, because knowledge isn't helpful if you're not doing anything with it. You need to be it needs to be applied. And sometimes you need to be held accountable. Are you doing these things? Okay, what's showing up for you? Why aren't you able to incorporate that for yourself? How can I support you?
Yes, absolutely. Accountability is the only way we function, honestly. Like if nobody is asking us about it, we can continually put it off. But if we have accountability partners or different little groups, and we're asking to be held accountable, we're more motivated to go do the thing.
Absolutely. And you just feel like you have that extra sort of, pat on the back or whatever it needs. It's like, yes, I can handle this. Yes, I can do it. It's not too much. And you don't go into that cycle of overwhelm and stress and anxiety and all of those things that don't really help you.
No, no, they really don't. um do you use intuition to help decide which modalities to recommend, or do you base it on your client's intuition?
it it's a two-way street, right? Like it's not just me, you know, throwing things at people. It's like that really helped me. I really find that beneficial. Can I have more of that? Sure you can. Some people are very open and find just receiving Reiki very beneficial because it's just energy healing, and sometimes they want and seek more of that, and that is fine. I honor and give them what they need sort of in the moment that's going to help them so that they feel like their best selves, so that this process isn't energetically draining and weighing on them so much.
Yes. um Reiki is definitely one of the modalities I used while I was going through my personal journey. Ugh, a bunch of other ones, but that was a big one for me because, interestingly enough, I'm gonna tell a little story. So before I went in to have my hysterectomy, my roommate sat me down the night before and hennaed my back and head. And he was definitely healing as he was doing it, and it was sort of like his prayer in henna on my body, which was really very cool.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
you can't take anything in with you, right? Like, so he's like, this is what I want to do for you, and I have pictures somewhere. I need to find them because I all of the things made a difference, right? So I think it's important to talk about all of the things so that people can have that idea that maybe that works for them too.
Absolutely. I mean, I encourage everyone to experience these things for yourselves. Maybe something isn't your main modality, but maybe something really resonates for you and you feel those shifts and changes immediately. And oftentimes that's the case, but also know that you can only be helped as much as you're willing to embody and embrace it. So you have to be open to receive what is, if you're an open vessel, then I can be an open vessel and you can have that freely given to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Which, you know, being open to things stems back to mindset. I can circle back to mindset on everything, because once you get your mind right, you are open. You're also more positive. And I'm not talking toxic positivity. I'm talking actual legitimate. just being positive and seeing a positive goal as opposed to being mired in negativity and why does this always happen to me mentality,
Mhm.
and just create your own mindset. It being told to just be happy, right? Like just do it when you're sad, like it feels kind of
No, that
insulting. It it's
that doesn't honor anybody's feelings and emotions, and they're still there and they're still present and they want to be acknowledged and they want to be witnessed. And once you do, then they're not there. But when we don't give ourselves or other people don't give you permission to feel what it is you are feeling in the moment, you're feeling that for a reason, you know? That is there, that is present for a reason. And those are things that should not be shoved under the rug. They shouldn't be suppressed or repressed because they're still there. They're still in your body. They're in your tissues.
yes, and you should handle them, but I do think that they're like if you personally choose to see that as a negative thought and just go, okay, well, there's no reason for me not to be happy. Unless they're legitimate, like, you know what I'm saying, right? Like, I'm not talking about somebody who's clinically depressed or anything like that, but I'm just talking about you're in a bad mood because somebody cut you off or something, and you get mired in the little bullshit of that moment and allow it to ruin the rest of your day when you can just
Let it
realize
go.
that right, realize that you can't control the situation, you can only control how you see it and how you handle it, and let it go, right, and then just be like, breathe it out and
Definitely.
let it go.
When you have the tools and resources available to you, then you do feel like you can handle any situation, whether it's cancer or infertility. When you know that you're equipped and you can handle anything that comes your way, then you don't get so thrown off and into a tailspin and like I can't believe this is happening and I don't want to deal with this and just totally unprepared. It's like, okay, deep breath and this is where I'm at and this is what I can do about it. These are the tools I have. And if you don't have the tools, then seek them out because there's so many things that you can do. And I really encourage everyone to do something for their mind, body, and spirit every single day. You know, what is your non-negotiables every single day? Do that for you and give that to yourself because you deserve it and you're worthy of it.
Yes, I agree with you. I highly encourage creating little ritualized activities for yourself. Something that I do every morning is have coffee with my husband before we go to work. We sit and we just have coffee together. It's part of our morning ritual, and sometimes there's a little bit of snoring happening during the time, but still, we sit and enjoy each other's company and just talk. And it's a daily ritual for us. And you can create any kind of daily ritual that you want, whether you want to have, a spa bath or a shower, or you want to read a book, you want to go out in the yard and hug that one tree, like whatever it is, you can ritualize little activities and make them sacred to yourself and make them non-negotiables. Absolutely. I
It's
agree.
really mind blowing, you know, how you feel when you do something for yourself day in and day out, no matter what. No matter what. You can always show up for yourself in the best capacity that you're able to in that moment. And so maybe you couldn't go for a 20-minute walk today, but maybe you could go outside and sit in the sun. And maybe that is what you could do for yourself today in this moment. And, you know, take the small things and make them the big things and just give yourself grace for what you can do and what you can accomplish for yourself in a day, and know that they're not rigid, and be flexible, but make sure that you do those things for yourself every day. And for the longest time, I was like, I'm not getting up before my kids and meditating in the morning. It's just not happening. And once I started doing that, I'm like, that can't be the thing. That can't be the thing that like makes such a huge difference in my life, right? But it did, because I got up, I showed up for myself day in and day out for years now and prioritized myself. And then I bring that energy into my day and I start the day in the way that I want to, instead of being dragged out of the bed like, Mom. It's
Even
night and day difference.
even even if you're going through a healing journey or a pregnancy activity, and you are so many things to so many people, no matter where you're at, you cannot give from an empty cup. So
No.
you have to fill your cup. And what you give away should only be the overflow. You should never, ever be depleting anything in the cup to be giving away, because that is yours. You are allowed to be a little selfish with that. It's part of loving yourself and caring for yourself is to have a full cup. And whether that cup is a shot glass or a giant 2 liter bottle depends on where you are, right? Like, so the cup size definitely can change based on how you present and what you're capable of at the time, but your cup needs to be filled, and you need to make yourself a priority every day.
So important, and such a shift often from, especially for women, especially for us givers, and putting ourselves last and taking care of everybody else's needs, and then I'll do something for myself, but then by the time you get there you've got nothing left. And it really needs to be just a mindset shift of, no, I'm going to do it this way now, and this is what works for me now, and this is what I'm embodying, and this is what I'm doing, full stop. And when you catch yourself not doing that, you stop and you shift.
And once you start making that a, a priority, making yourself a priority, you will see that you actually have more to give because you're more complete. So if you have a puzzle box and half the puzzle pieces are missing, you can't give very much of that away. But if you have a full puzzle box, you have more to give.
Yes, for
My
sure.
examples are a little crazy.
Well, people are often thinking like, what's the missing piece? Like what is, why am I experiencing this? What is the missing piece? Like what is that one thing that is going to make this better? That is making going to make this go away? And it's not just a magic pill or a one thing, but it's really that holistic approach where it's mind, body, and spirit that is just going to bring everything into balance and alignment, because you're not missing anything then. You're looking after all avenues and aspects of yourself. And when you do that, everything just flows better. There's more ease, there's more grace, and life doesn't feel so hard.
Yes. Even when you're in your low spots. Uh, the chemotherapy was brutal, and I was sleeping almost 20 hours a day. But when I was awake, I I would I would do one thing every day during my chemo journey is when I changed my ruse. I would put on a fresh pair of Wonder Woman's panties because Wonder Woman doesn't die. And that little act, that was an act of self-care, because that was me. That was the physical representation of me actively deciding to live every day. And it literally was just changing my underwear. So it doesn't have to be something super time consuming. or elaborate. It could just be sit with yourself in a mindset thing, and it made all the difference. I absolutely believe that it's 95% of the reason why I'm still here.
Oh, I'm covered in goosebumps. So thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful. And
Thank
I
you.
think for anyone who, if you're really in a low point and don't feel like you have the energy to do something for yourself, or you think that you can't meditate, I love to offer Yoga Nidra. It is a meditation. And even if you are sleeping, you still receive the benefits because it is working on your subconscious mind and it's addressing all five layers of your being, and you can't do it wrong. So there's your starting point on your health and wellness journey. If you haven't tried it yet, I encourage you to try it.
What is it exactly?
It's a meditation. It's a bit of a longer meditation, and it's like yogic sleep where it's in the brain state between wakefulness and sleeping. And so it's just a beautiful meditation that is just going to bring you back into balance and just release any of the anxiety and stress and PTSD or anything else that is going on in your subconscious that you're experiencing in the moment. And you can find ones for anxiety, you can find one for insomnia, you can find them for all sorts of things that you could be experiencing. And it's just knowing that and then s- having the awareness of what am I experiencing right now and what is going to help me in this moment. You can do them for the chakras, you can do them for all sorts of things.
And what is it called again?
Yoga Nidra, so Nidra.
Awesome. I'm gonna have to look into that. Like I think I've heard of it before, but I haven't, you know, there's just so much to study and learn and so many wonderful modalities out there that can help you. And I'm learning I've been actively studying a bunch of them for decades, and I'm still learning about new stuff all the time, which I think is great.
Yes, absolutely. What you can do for yourself not only helps you, how you learn, how you grow and evolve is helping you now and in your future self, right? And it's like, what do I want to do for myself now that's going to help me to live the life that I want to live and the life that I want to lead, and so that I can be here for all the people that I want to be here for?
Yes, absolutely. It circles back to mindset, as it always does. Fantastic. Ashley, you were telling me that you have a gift for the audience.
I do have a special gift that can be found in the link below this, and it is my best sort of three holistic self care tips that whatever you're experiencing or going through in the moment, this is going to help you. This is going to help you sort of get on track, get on path, and be like, yes, I can do that for myself. Thank you.
Fantastic. So, as Ashley said, that gift will be linked in the show notes for you so that you'll have access to it. Thank you so much for being here today, Ashley. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure, and I hope that you found value and can incorporate even one thing for yourself today from listening here. You're worthy of it.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Bye, everybody.
Bye.